So guys, thank you so much for agreeing to be here. I'm just going to have you introduce yourselves. If you want to leave your mics off, you'd be unmuted and just speak casually and freely. You guys can do that too.
I can hear you now, by the way. I fixed the problem.
Fixed your thing. Okay. Stephanie, I'm going to have you start since you're on my screen first.
Okay. So let me tell you first what I'm cooking. I am cooking plant-based sausage with braised white beans and greens with Parmesan. It's a New York Times recipe with 5 stars from almost 11,000 people. So I think it's going to be pretty good.
That sounds amazing.
So I don't have any, lovely story about that. I will put a little plug in to please come join my live on Sunday at 5:30. We're talking about how to rewire your brain. So that's pretty good stuff. Hopefully I'll see you then. And I'm so excited to be cooking together. I love this.
Thank you. I'm so glad you're here. And you guys might not know this, Gina and Stephanie and I met in person because I had a sound bath at my house that Susie Sands came and did. And it was so fun. Violet was working. She couldn't be here, but we know that she would have otherwise. Gina, what about you?
Okay, and that was really fun. And I never told you, Melanie, that my daughter went to Sarah Lawrence. So she literally was probably right in your backyard. Anyway, I'm Gina Ferrara, and I am a person that uses Reiki and sound with my meditations and with my live sessions. Yes, I do lives a lot. I do them once a week at least. In fact, one is tomorrow. It's my like the one I do for an hour where we have an entire Reiki session. So I'm excited about that. I'm from Connecticut. I do a lot of live stuff, but I also do a lot of things in person as well. And that's me. I'm in like a second time of my life. I'm retired from my regular work. I was a therapist, and now this is what I'm doing in my new career. So I'm loving it, and I love Inside Timer. And I actually love to cook. And since I left my actual job, I'm really loving to cook because my time is so much more flexible. So today I'm making, and that's why I'm wearing orange, because I'm making carrot cake. And it's my daughter, today is my daughter's 32nd birthday, but I'm not going to be with her till next week. So I like to make the cake ahead of time and freeze it. And this cake was, came originally from the Los Angeles Times, because I used to live out there. And I've just adapted it over the years, and it's just become like the thing I make. I don't really bake much anymore, but I bake carrot cake, and it's amazing. So I'm excited to make it here, even though I did all of the prep ahead of time, because I'm afraid I will measure poorly. I don't think I could be that mindful with my measuring.
Yeah, I'm making something with carrot too, actually.
Yes, your ginger soup. It sounds awesome.
So I'm making something savory. And just like you, I also just prepped everything ahead of time because it's almost midnight over here. I'm based in Edinburgh. So the UK. So I was like, okay, I need to make sure everything's laid out so that minimal bandwidth to like make it. But I am Rebecca. For those of you who don't know me, I guide sensitive souls to declutter their hearts, homes, and minds. So I'm a little bit obsessed with decluttering for mental health and for spiritual well-being as well. So you might have seen me around with my live decluttering sessions. So it's a little bit of a different setup today, and I'm so excited and so honored to be invited to be here with Chef Melanie. And thank you so much, Violet, for doing all the tech behind the scenes too. And I am making today, as I said, a warming carrot ginger coconut soup. And it's 5 ingredients because I'm a busy mom of 2. I have an 8 and 10-year-old. So I wanted to make it as simple as possible, especially since this is like a midnight cooking session too. So that is, yeah, I'm all about simplifying life. And
can you come to New York? I need you.
Yeah, I'm all about the life hacks. So I'm going to be showing you guys later as well, like the hacks, the shortcuts too. And I know that Carley, you said that you have a daughter as well, right?
Yeah, so hi everyone. My name is Carley, also known as Smile from Heaven. My amazing husband is the other half, which he's hanging around here somewhere. I'm sure he'll walk past at some point. I'm in Australia, so it's nice and early. I'm in the future for all of you people. I am Saturday morning here. I like to say I am the future. And today I'm making, yes, I forgot to say we're okay. Yes, we have a almost 15-year-old daughter. Oh, she's upstairs. I'm sure she'll come down when she smells these cookies. So I'm making snickerdoodles from one of the recipes that Mel sent out. And the reason I'm doing it is because here in Australia, we don't have snickerdoodles. And I keep hearing about it in all these American shows that we watch, and they sound amazing. And see, to me, I hear the word Snickers and I think peanuts, because the Snickers is like a chocolate bar full of peanuts. And then when I looked at the recipe, I was like, there's no peanuts in this. What part of Snicker is this? And oh, I was like, this is confusing. Thinking that I was going to be making something chocolatey and peanutty, and it's not. It's what looks like a cinnamony type cookie.
Yes.
But I love cookies, so I'm making snickerdoodles. I'm super excited, and I do have my stuff. I'm very much like Mel. I don't kind of measure too much. The only thing I weighed out was my butter, only because here in Australia we don't have sticks of butter. They come in giant blocks instead, so I had to weigh out just that. But the rest of it, I'm just going to, and I do have my measuring spoons and stuff here, but I don't tend to follow too much. I'm just like, yeah, this will do. This will do. And I'll just make it work. And I was thinking, depending on how much time I've got while I'm waiting for, because I notice I've got to let this dough chill, which I don't tend to wait too much. Sorry, Mel, if this is your recipe and I don't follow it perfectly, it's going to be a Carley version.
Come on.
I've got some cauliflower left in the fridge that I was thinking of roasting to make a cauliflower soup as well at some point today. So we'll see if I do that.
Yeah, I mean, I do intuitive baking, and I worked as a pastry chef where I had to be so precise, but I really tap into not measuring, and I do one of those once a month at least. And I'm going to make a cheesecake today, even though I made one last week, because as many of you know that were in my live, my husband complained that he doesn't like pumpkin and he didn't like the apple one that I made. So sorry, husband, if you're here, but I'm making a cheesecake from my book. I'm not promoting my book. It is out of print and you cannot purchase it, but I'm making this cheesecake right here. And it's made with this special cheese, and it's very similar to quark. If anybody has access to quark, you can use it, but you could also use yogurt. It's a lot lighter than a typical American cheesecake. So it's really, really delicious. And I'm going to be working on that. It's actually really straightforward. It's just cheese, eggs, sugar, and vanilla. So I'm excited.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I could do that.
You can do that. It's so easy. And I'm excited to have you guys here because I really believe that cooking bonds people together. And, you know, this is, if we were in person, we could be like 100 years ago, a group of friends gathering together, cooking in person and supporting each other. You know, there used to be knitting clubs, crocheting clubs, and cooking clubs. And I really believe that this is an amazing opportunity. So you guys, if you have questions, drop them in the chat. I'm going to talk to people a little bit.
Can we just start cooking?
Yeah, start cooking. And if, you know, I started my crust already while we were talking, and I want to show you guys my apron. I very rarely wear this apron.
Oh, I'm gonna put mine on too.
Oh, I should put mine on.
I had this
I should get my dinner and eat.
Yeah, you should
get a Christmas one.
Oh, I love that. It's so good.
I love it.
This was made by a woman. Her name is Cami Spear. I don't know her. Cami works in the mystical, magical world, and this is hand dyed with marigolds. And
wow.
That was done because at the time it was really my plant ally that I worked with for a year. So
nice.
Yeah,
well, I'm going to be Mrs. Claus making cookies.
A very sexy Mrs. Claus, I see.
Something for hubby to eat. Hey, I'll share that my apron, because today's my daughter's birthday, and my daughter gave me this apron. I'll wear this for her today. Oh, but I want to ask Melanie, I want to ask you a question. Yeah. I am a completely intuitive cook. I don't really follow recipes. I'm not good at it, in fact. That's why when people say to me, how did you make it? I'm like, I couldn't tell you, but I had always heard with baking, it was so important because of the chemical, the way the chemicals interact and all of this. And so I'm much more cautious when I bake. So I'd love if you want to talk about, or could talk about that, about being intuitive with baking.
Definitely. I mean, I think we've been told that you must measure, and there's no question for me working professionally, I would always measure because I worked at the Four Seasons Hotel. If you're coming there, you want the same dessert every single time. You don't want it to be one way one day and another way the next. And then when I grew up on a farm, my grandmother never measured. And so historically, people did not measure when they were cooking in their own homes. They might have done like, oh, I'm going to do a cupful of this, a handful of that, but they weren't measuring the way that we have really sort of taken a new line of doing. And I think that works for a lot of people. It's sort of a two-way street. Some people are perfectionists and it makes them feel good. And I've been teaching cooking for 28 years. And one of the things that I know is that recipes give people a really strong sense of security in cooking and baking because they feel like, well, I'm following a recipe. If it doesn't work out, it's not my fault. And it's okay if it doesn't work out anyway. And also, I think for me, one of the things that I try to encourage people is I think cooking and baking are a lot like us as people. It's going to come out a little bit differently every time, and that's okay. And that's kind of what makes it fun. And you don't have to expect it to be professional every single time. I have a sister, though, who would never do it sort of intuitively because she wants it just perfect. So if you're somebody who's like really tapping into perfection, it's probably not the right space. And knowing like, okay, this time it turned out this way, this time it turned out that way, and I'm okay with it. But also, I'm not saying you don't have to use a recipe. You could look at my recipe, right? So my recipe calls for, I'm doubling my recipe, but it calls for 3 containers of this cheese. Well, I don't need to measure it. It comes in a container. It calls for 6 eggs. I don't need to measure eggs. They come in a shell. A stick of butter, although Carley said she doesn't have sticks. In the US, we have sticks. So there's a lot of stuff you don't even need to be measuring, but yes. So baking soda and baking powder, if you're like, hey, I want to try this, the best thing to do is to measure a teaspoon of it and put it in your hand or in a spoon and see what it looks like. And then, going forward, all right, hey, and I also say like, if you are someone who wants to use a cup or a spoon in your measuring, use the same one every time. Because baking is really a ratio. So it helps you sort of tap into that because you're already like, oh, I know this. And something I'll do, and I do it in my lives, and I know people have seen me do this, I'll be like, oh, you know what? It's a little wet. I'm going to add in a little flour, or it's a little dry. I'm going to put in a little bit of, milk, water, whatever is in the recipe. So I feel comfortable making those changes and adapting. And people will say, oh, hey, I don't feel comfortable because I don't know how to do it. But many things in our lives we don't know how to do, and we adapt to doing them. We try it out. And so for me, it's just such a reflection of us as people and opening up.
I love that. Thank you so much. That's a lot of more freedom, actually. And you're right, because I think I would be much more forgiving when I'm making something that's just for, a few members of my family, but when I'm having a dinner party or, I'm not necessarily about the food, but definitely about the baking. I'm more cautious. I would definitely be more cautious, but that made a lot of sense. I appreciate that.
Well, and also I do want to say, all of us, I sent all of us recipes, right? And let's say we were all making snickerdoodles, they're going to come out differently no matter what, even following the same recipe, because maybe it's hot in Australia right now and Carly's butter is a different temperature than ours, or our ovens are different. We all measure a little bit differently. Carley.
So 2 questions. Is this your recipe? 3 questions actually.
Yes.
Okay.
Do I have a typo?
No, not at all. I'm just not used to making cookies without vanilla. Is there a reason there's no vanilla in the recipe?
You can put vanilla for sure. Snickerdoodles like really heavily usually rely on the cinnamon, but
okay.
I put Himalayan salt and vanilla in pretty much everything. Okay. So
because I just thought, I was like, why is there no vanilla in this? Secondly, I didn't beat for the full 5 minutes because I didn't want to make that much noise. And my egg was a double yolker. So,
Ooh.
because it said large egg, so I'm going to use my homemade vanilla. So this is my homemade vanilla that I've been making for
Wow.
15 years. These vanilla beans have been in there for 15 years, and I just keep adding to it and then just topping it up with vodka.
Oh my God, I love it.
Yeah.
And I go to the bottle shop or whatever you guys call it. I don't know what you guys
The
call
bowl
it.
The
shop
liquor
here
store.
means something very different, Carly.
The
liquor store.
bottle-o. You go to the bottle-o, and I go and buy a bottle of vodka, and they're like, "Oh, this isn't like the best vodka you can get." I'm like, "I don't care, dude. I'm making vanilla out of it." Like, I don't need to
Wow.
buy $100 vodka. It's going to be turned into vanilla essence, and they all look at me like I've lost my mind. So yeah, so that's my homemade vanilla that I've been making for, and I need to top it up. Actually, I need to go and buy some more vodka. So yeah, and you can always taste the difference between real vanilla and like, don't get me wrong, I do use that shit crap one every now and again if I'm making something for somebody that I don't care. But for the close, yeah. So I have put a little bit of vanilla in it. So yeah.
I
And the other thing I'm going to do is, I know it says in a separate bowl. Now, this is a question that I'm always going to ask because I always ignore it. Why in a separate bowl combine the dry stuff, whereas I'm just going to chuck it all in and add it to the existing bowl? Is there a reason?
Well, yes and no. You can
Okay.
just add it in, but one of the things you want to make sure is that your ingredients are dispersed, especially your cream of tartar, because when people don't mix it together prior, it can stay in one spot in the cookie or whatever you're making. So honestly, many times I don't use a separate bowl, but I move some space over in my bowl and add it and stir it together to disperse it a little bit. And Carly, I did a project for Grey Goose many years ago.
Yeah.
I was wondering what the vibration was. I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, what? Am I vibrating?
I didn't turn it on. I didn't put it on the sound. And I used Grey Goose for all my homemade vanilla extract. And I will say I stuck with it because I really do like it in there.
Yeah, I definitely think the better quality vodka would work, but my budget is like, no, you can just do with the shit stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and Melinda asked about how to make it. You take, Melinda, there's a lot of people are really have strong feelings about measuring the beans. I don't measure them. People do 2 ounces of beans per quart of vodka. I do 10 to 15 beans depending on my beans. And I will use mine after 6 months. I know people who are like purists who are like, no, you need to wait, and you need to wait at least a year to 2 years. I'm not waiting that long, and I get great vanilla, but it could be because I use really good vodka. But you just split your beans, you put them in a jar, and then you can actually put them in your vodka jar. You just take a little bit of the vodka out, and then you just let it hang out in a area that's either in your kitchen or in a cabinet that's dark and not super hot. And then it's ready to go. And you can do what Carly does, where you keep topping it off, or people will add in or people start batches sporadically, so they always have them going. I give it a lot as a gift, and I actually am doing one on a live in October with like gifts for the holidays, and that's going to be one of them.
That's genius.
I just wanted to say, Jessica wants to know if she can ask questions. Jessica, you can always ask questions.
I
Absolutely.
should be asking questions. Absolutely.
Yeah, so good too.
Should I bring out a pad and do what Melanie does and be the question keeper?
No, I'm looking at questions. I saw hers. I just hadn't gotten to it yet. But yes, ask questions.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Yeah. Let's see. She
had a question for Stephanie first and everyone. She says, does cooking help or add to your anxiety?
Helps. Called procrastinating.
For
When you
me
don't want to do what you're supposed to do, you go to the kitchen and you bake something instead. That helps your anxiety.
Yes.
And what were you saying, Stephanie? I missed that.
So for me personally, this is mindfulness. This is something that's very calming. I love cooking. And this is something that I had to learn because my mother, ate a lot of TV dinners when I was growing up. My mother didn't know how to cook. Nobody taught her. So when my husband and I met, he was, Michael Dalfonzo. He's the master chef. And so I was like chopped liver, but I've learned to cook. And a lot of it has been a big part of my mental well-being is I cook. Thankfully, I can show you all my stuff was already prepped. I didn't do the prep.
Nice.
My husband and I are at a point in our marriage now. We just celebrated our 40th anniversary. He's my sous chef, and
Nice.
he does the prep. I do the cooking and the eating, and then he does the cleanup. So
Love it.
is a great way for me to lower my anxiety and keep myself calm. But for somebody like Violet, I would say this might be anxiety producing. Possibly, Violet.
Absolutely, it is. Yeah, if I have to cook, I get all like frazzled and I'm trying to get everything to work at the same time. But I'm very good with the takeout menu.
And you know what? We all have different gifts, right? Baskin Robbins has 31 flavors because one doesn't fit all.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I do want to say something about that, Stephanie, and I agree with you. And Violet, I think it's partially because you're a perfectionist and you don't admit it. But
I am. Oh, I admit I am a perfectionist.
I meant about cooking, but
Oh.
I feel like we have to eat every day. So that's different. It's not an activity that you can say, well, I'm not going to do unless you are ordering out or you're married to someone who's going to cook, because that's why I try to really get people to get on board, because I eat 3 meals a day. As far as I know, most people are eating. So I always feel like if we can somehow figure out how to bring joy to that, it is really helpful to people, because you are eating most of the time. I don't know. Does anybody in here not eat every day?
We all want to eat.
Who was the idiot that came up with only 3 meals a day?
They didn't include the snacks. Well, I'll share that I think that it was more stressful like when my children were young, because it was a time consumer and there was a pressure about it, about having to feed these little bodies. So I can see where there's the anxiety about that. I know when my kids were small, I had to do like meal planning for 2 weeks at a time. And that took the stress off of me because I didn't have to think ahead of time. But I kind of use cooking now as kind of like how I use walking. So sometimes I use it as meditative, and I'm just into the chopping and into it, and I'm completely focused on what I'm doing. Sometimes I do it as my podcast accompaniment. I'm listening to a podcast or to music. Or a book on tape or something, so that I try to pair it with something else. Like I just was listening to something on IT, one of the courses, when I was getting everything ready for this, the Tao, it was very cool. But so I like to use it for a variety of things. And then when I have family here, it's nice, fun activity to do together. I think that you can use it in so many ways to manage and not be anxiety producing, but I know that it is sometimes.
Yeah, and it's like what Viola was saying, like 5 ingredients or less, and then there's also shortcuts as well, and also just getting the whole family involved, like the people that you're living with, like Stephanie too. My husband's also my sous chef. He does all the chop and all the prepping, and we all clean up together too. So it just becomes like a shared activity rather than all lying on one person's shoulders as well. And another thing is it's meditative because we're using our hands and we're away from the screens, right?
Mhm.
So that's what makes it so powerful. I wanted to also share, because I know Angela was asking about some of the hacks, because it's late here and I also have kids. I'm like, okay, it's all about the shortcuts for me. So I actually use, for the soup today, I actually use crushed garlic, like frozen, because you don't have to peel it. There's like 4 garlic cloves in each cube. So you just pop it in. And then I also use just frozen chopped onions. You can just keep it in your freezer, like Violet, you can keep these in your as well. It's just so easy.
I
It's like,
actually have used that because I used to use my crock pot a lot, and I used
Yeah.
to buy a lot of stuff like that and just throw it all into the crock pot. I love those kind of tips. Someone says they would love to have a meal planning workshop, and I would love that as well. And I'm happy to host that. So I'm just putting that out there.
ooh,
I love meal planning.
amazing.
Meal planning is great.
I would totally attend, and like
Let's
I
do
need
it.
some hot tips too.
I
Yeah.
love
one
meal
of my
planning.
first lives I ever did was on meal planning and meal prep.
So
Gotta
if you
bring
want
it
to plan another one, I will
Yeah, let's
host
do
it. You
another
can
one.
invite everybody.
Yeah, I think that'll be fun.
That would be fun. That'd be awesome.
Well, another
Yeah,
thing
I mean,
is-
I do on occasion make, stuff here and there. I did one of the things that Melanie, what was the thing with the creme fraiche that I loved? Oh, I forget what you called it.
Oh, the smoked salmon with the
Yes.
the smashed potatoes.
Yes, I loved that. That was easy. That was something I could do.
You had me at potatoes.
Oh God, me too. In fact, I'm still buying those potatoes because I love them so much. I just throw them in the oven and I'll just eat them with anything.
Yeah, they're super delicious.
Yeah. Oh, I see Morgan uses garlic. Yes, totally.
Yeah.
I've used it as well. Like, anything to just have a shortcut, right? And oh, hi, Ellen. So great to see you here.
Melinda,
too.
Melinda, I love Trader Joe's. That's where I get a lot of the stuff from that I buy frozen.
Great.
Yeah.
I'll share that because my husband does a lot of chopping too, as does my food processor. I will, especially my husband says, I love to chop garlic, but I still have to force him to do it. But when I get him to do it, if I get like some really nice garlic from the farmer's market, I'll have him chop up like, several heads. And then I'll put it into a cup and just pour some olive oil in it and stick it in the fridge so that I always have that, and that's a really good use of the sous chef.
Can I share two things? The first is following up on what Gina just said about the garlic. This is, I know this was well under $10. It was maybe under $5. It's to put the garlic in, and I don't know if you can see, there's like little nubs on the inside. You put the garlic cloves in here and rub it like this, and it takes the skin off.
I have one of those.
It's so cool. I know.
Love it.
That's a recent purchase for me that I was like, who knew? And how smart? Who was so smart to come up with that?
Yes.
The other thing, I grabbed this off my refrigerator. This has been on my fridge for years. It was out of an Oprah magazine years and years ago. Is there any practice less selfish, any labor less alienated, any time less wasted than preparing something delicious and nourishing for people you love? Isn't that nice?
It is nice.
Including
Love that.
yourself, people, because you should love yourself.
Mm.
Yes. Actually, I think it was Evie asked, what if you developed a fear? I want to answer two things. Evie said, I think, what if you developed a fear of cooking? And then a couple people said chopping garlic is the bane of my existence, which I think is interesting because when I chop garlic on my lives, those of you that are here are like, oh, I love this. It's so soothing. It's so nice.
Yeah,
Oh
when
my
somebody else does it.
Yeah.
Right. I was going to say that.
So Evie, I actually work with a lot of people who have developed a fear of cooking, and I think you have to figure out maybe where it came from and what it came from, because there's different reasons why people develop that fear. And sometimes it's hearing other people say to them, oh, this isn't very good, or I don't like it. That can be a big part of it. So I don't know if you want to share, but I know all of us have a lot of wisdom about developing fears. So if you felt
My
like
mother never let us in the kitchen. She didn't want us to get hurt or burned or use a knife. So I never was in the kitchen, and I just did not develop an interest in it.
yeah,
See, I was brought up in the kitchen. My mom, my nan, we're all big cookers and bakers and, sharing food and stuff. For me, that fear, and whether that is, as a creative arts therapist, that fear comes in many different ways, whether it's the fear of cooking or the fear of that blank page when you first open a journal or start on a canvas. Honestly, I think as a society, we have lost the ability to allow ourselves to be crap at something. Like, give yourself permission to be bad at something. You don't have to be good. You just have to do it. Do it for the fun of it. Do it for the joy of it, whether that's art or cooking or exercise or whatever. We've got to stop going into whatever we're going into with that mindset that it's going to be 100% perfect and fabulous and all the great things every single time. You know, allow yourself to be bad at something, allow yourself to make bad food or bad art, or because that's where practice, that's where lessons come from. That's where we just let go of that control and allow yourself to make some bad cocktails and mix those drinks, Violet.
I think that's a good really a good point, though. I like that.
It's all about starting, isn't it? You know, you just got to start, right?
Yeah,
So
and
I didn't.
over the years, I've made some pretty bad things, but the thing is, what's bad when it comes to food is it still edible? Because there's often times that it might not taste like Melanie's cheesecake. It might not be exactly the same as Rebecca's soup, but it bet you any money it's still edible. Unless you've accidentally used salt instead of sugar or something really out there to make it inedible. I have made a lot of disastrous mistakes in this kitchen, but I can honestly tell you on one hand that it has been inedible, like to the point where the crows outside won't even eat it. But it was still an experience. It would still be edible. Like, I made a cake once that wouldn't cook inside. So you know what I did? I sliced it up and laid it all flat and baked it, and it came out like nice crispy biscotti. Like, I'm not throwing these damn ingredients out because it tastes good. It's just soggy in the center.
Yeah, you get creative, right? You're like, gotta salvage that.
That's all right. I had a dish once when my kids were growing up. I was in a rush. I did something, and when I got home later, they said, "Why did you serve us hardtack and gruel?" I said, "Well, I didn't intend to be that, but that's just how it came out." Hey, I just have a quick question because this has nothing to do with cooking, but Carley, you're a creative arts therapist?
Yes, I am.
Because I'm a dance therapist.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, so I love connecting in all forms of different creativity, whether it's, through tattoos or through wood burning or through glass etching, paint, food, fashion, music, sound. I just think that we don't give ourselves anywhere near enough permission to be fun and free, childlike in any type of creative outlet. I think everybody has an inner artist. Artist doesn't mean that you have to have a piece of art hanging in a gallery or a museum. No one ever has to see it. So yeah, that's me.
Speaking of art,
Oh yeah.
I have a Carley original sitting by my desk.
You have two
I have-
Carley originals.
Yes, this one's sitting by my desk. The other one's in the window with the crystals.
The other one's my favorite one. I like this
Oh my
one, but I
gosh,
like the other one better.
mine too. This one is near and dear to me because she's Violet. But the sunflower is absolutely my favorite. I hate to say that in front of Violet,
Oh,
though.
don't worry, I say the same thing, and I'm saying it to your face.
I don't want her to don't feel bad, Violet. You're beautiful too.
Yes.
Listen, when I lived in Washington, D.C., and I don't know if it's still there, I'm assuming it is, but there was a museum, because my roommate worked there, called the Museum of Temporary Art. And I
Wow.
just thought that was pretty awesome,
Love that. The impermanence.
That is really cool.
Yeah, MOTA. Yeah, MOTA.
So I want to give a tip, and it's got nothing to do with anything that I'm making, and I don't know why it's just come to me, but my tip in the kitchen, and this comes down to the fact that I'm cheap and like to budget and save as much money as I can. My two tips on that are, when you've got containers of different things like pretzels or dry crackers or chips or all those sorts of random things, I keep all the crumbs and put them all into one container and blitz them in the food processor and then add them to breadcrumbs. And so when you're breading and you're crumbing things like schnitzel or anything like that, you'll have a totally unique flavor going into your stuff. Certainly not promoting packaged foods here, but, we're all human. We all have those things in our cupboard. Most of us have those things in our cupboard all the time anyway. So yeah, I always use up the little bits and pieces in the bottom, all those broken biscuits that no kid wants to eat. Sweet ones,
Don't waste it. You know?
savory, the same. So sweet ones go into a container for sweet crumbing, and then savory stuff goes into a container for savory crumbing. And then the other thing is, because I use my Thermomix a lot, I don't know if you guys have those overseas. I know Australia, I don't know, England has them, but anyway, it's like a big food processor, and it does everything. It cooks as well as processes.
Did you just say the Thermomix?
Yes.
Yeah, I have one, and it's a big food processor. It's like 400. I don't know what that cost there, but I paid 1,500 for it, and I used it once.
Wow.
They're $2,000. They're nearly $2,500 now. But I didn't pay for mine. I actually, again,
Wow.
my cheapskate budget brain, I joined Thermomix because I had a few friends that wanted to buy it. So I joined, sold their machines to them, used the commission to pay for my machine, and then quit.
Awesome. Awesome. Wow.
I will say this: if you're not like loving cooking, a Thermomix is amazing.
I use mine.
Yeah.
I use mine at multiple times a day. So I make my own jams, soups, I make my own bread because I don't want to be standing there kneading dough all the time. You know, the only bread that I knead by hand is my sourdough. Everything else goes in the Thermomix. Anyway,
Wow.
when I'm doing anything in a machine like the Thermomix or a food processor or a blender, I do it in a process so that I can back-to-back cook without cleaning up in between. So yesterday, for example, I made jam. So our mulberry tree is going crazy at the moment, and I've got a freezer full of mulberry. So I made mulberry jam for my friends. And at the end of the process, I had all this like jam left in the bottom of my machine that was like, and so I made an acai bowl for Jordan for his morning tea that was like, had a little bit of the jam inside the acai bowl. So, you know, it just used up all the bits that were in the bottom there. So back-to-back cooking is definitely my go-to. If I know I've got to make something, like if I'm making peanut butter, so I love making my own peanut butter, the machine does all the work for me. But as soon as I finish making the peanut butter, I then go and make a satay sauce and use up all the peanut butter that's left in the bottom of the jug. So back-to-back, think about your process back-to-back. So you got a lot less cleanup, but you're also using up all the little bits at the end as well.
Yeah, you know, and mentioning peanut butter as well, like never throw out after like the jar is done, right? Like you can add in like some soy sauce, some rice vinegar, sesame oil, and chili flakes, and then you just like shake it up, and it's such a great sauce for everything, from noodle to
or you know, or a dob of ice cream, and just, you know,
yeah, so many uses.
Oh no, that's the Nutella jar.
Yeah. And you know what? I saw that Jamie had mentioned about the freezer bag, and I wanted to show I have one too, you know, so
Nice.
just like all the bits into it. And then once it's full, just put it into my pressure cooker, and then got an amazing stock.
Rebecca, I need you in New York.
Oh, it's just such an easy life hack, right? Oh yes, I have that. That looks
Which
so good.
Ziploc bag do you want?
Nice. Oh, wow. You are super organized.
And somebody,
I need these organized people to come help me.
what is that machine that you guys are talking about? The Therma something? I don't know what that is.
Mix, M-I-X. Gina.
Therma.
Therma.
Is that Thermomix?
Yeah.
Did I
So
spell it right?
It
Thermomix?
cooks, it blends. No, Thermomix.
Oh.
Thermo.
Is it like a
Thermomix. It cooks, it blends, it steams, and you can be steaming at the top while you're cooking soup underneath. Yeah, I love it. I use it all the time, but there are a lot of people that I know. So when I first got my Thermomix, I actually used to teach Thermomix cooking classes because there's so many people that didn't know how to use it or use it to its full extent.
Wow.
And so there was a lot of
Wow.
people that were like, oh, I just make cocktails with it or smoothies, you know.
Well, I have one that I don't use.
Oh my God, Melanie.
No, you know why? Because the truth is, so the reason I bought it was I was doing a private cooking class, and the woman I was doing it with, she's from the UK, and she had one. And we made lemon curd from scratch ourselves in a pot, and then we made one in the Thermomix. And the Thermomix was amazing. And I was like, okay, this is why I understand why somebody might not want to do it by hand, because
I've got everything frozen. Am I the only one?
yes.
No.
Mine's not frozen.
Mine's okay. Mine's
Okay.
working.
Must be me then. Okay, I was just.
Oh, I thought you meant everything frozen in food.
So did I.
Oh, every-
I was like, what?
Anyway, that was why I bought it, was because I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna make lemon curd in here every time. And my husband said, you're never using this. I know you. And he's right, but he has used it a couple times. And I think it's amazing because, like Carley said, it does cook and steam, and it does all, you can be doing 5 things at one time. So
Yeah.
it's not.
And the
something
good
I
thing
wanna
is,
do.
I
But
don't know
you
which
have
version
to
you've
take a
got.
loan out to buy it. It looks expensive.
Yeah,
Expensive.
it is expensive. But look, honestly, if for someone like Violet, it would actually be worth its weight, because the newer version, the older version, not so much, but the newer versions, there is a what they call the cook key on the side. So you actually just click on the recipe and it weighs it for you. So you click next and it'll
Nice.
I
say
have that one.
add 500 grams of whatever, and it'll weigh it. And then next, and it'll tell you to add 200 grams of this, and you put it in and it weighs it for you. Next, and it tells you the next ingredient for you to weigh. And then you just follow the directions, hit start, and walk away. That's it.
That's a lot of next, though. You see, my smart oven, you just put the whole tray in and you scan the code and it does everything.
Yeah, but I'm talking about if you're following a recipe with multiple ingredients.
True.
Jessica asked a question. She said, what is one food that you all could eat and not get sick of?
Cheese.
It's got to be rice for me. I just love rice. I get like angry if I don't get rice like every other day at least.
I just saw Alejandro says he needs me to be in the kitchen like a pro. Listen, I am handling OBS, Alejandro. You know that's enough.
Here's our brother here, Alejandro.
Stephanie
Oh,
and Gina, what about you guys?
I'm cooking OBS.
Cheese.
Ooh, Violet, seafood. Yeah, I love seafood too. So
Anything
good.
seafood. I could eat forever.
I think
Stephanie, did
for
you
me,
say
it's
cheese as well?
cheese and chocolate.
Cheese and chocolate?
Yes.
Yes.
So
I would
happy.
say for me, it's got, I mean, I can't seem to give dairy up. It's yogurt. I just love Greek yogurt and chocolate. Those two
Gina,
I don't get tired of.
Gina, I
Yeah.
make my own Greek yogurt in the Thermomix. It does it all for me.
You know what? I do. That does sound, because I'm getting distressed by purchasing that.
Yeah, it's so good. Homemade Greek yogurt is the best. Natural, nothing else in it other than the milk and the starter.
And you do it in the Thermomix, huh?
Yeah, because it sets the temperature at the right level for the 8 hours. And I just put it on, go to bed, and wake up in the morning to yogurt. It's great.
I tried. Oh my God. Okay. I tried to go vegan when I decided to stop eating meat. I wasn't giving up cheese. Who was I kidding? There was no way. So I am a pescatarian, not a vegetarian, because we do eat fish and seafood. But vegan for me was just too hard. There was no way I could do it.
We went plant-based for 4 years because of Jordan's health issues, and it saved his life, and I'm glad we did.
Yeah.
But it was really hard for me to give up cheese. So while we were plant-based, I started a plant-based food business, and I taught myself, and I used to make my own feta, smoked cheese, cashew cheese, coconut cream cheese. Yeah, so I
You're
did.
amazing.
Amazing,
No,
honestly.
it's called ADHD. That's all it is.
I'm a flexitarian. My husband's vegetarian, but I was like, when I'm out, I'm gonna eat my seafood and my meats as well. But at home, I'm like, I'm not gonna be cooking different meals for everyone. We're all gonna be vegetarian at home.
Well, yeah, when I decided to do this, because when my husband and I met, he was living off steaks like this thick, almost 3-4 times a week. And I was like, oh my gosh. So when I decided that that's it, I don't want to eat meat anymore, I just said to him, I said, I'm going to do this, and I'm not going to force you to, but I'm not going to be making meat anymore. So I'm going to cook, not meat. And if you want to cook a steak or something to add to it, be my guest. And he said, well, let me give it a try. And now he doesn't want the steak anymore. Who knew?
Yeah. Hey, am I doing this right? I don't know what I'm supposed to. I'm just reading. You roll the balls. Is this about the right size, Mel?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, cool. I'm just like doing my own thing over here. Like, and as you can see, I'm wearing gloves because my sensory thing, when it comes to paint, I will happily cover myself in paint. I would get paint and glue and glitter and all the sticky bits over on my art desk on me, no problem. But when it comes to the kitchen, I cannot handle food sticking to my hands. I don't know what it is. I'm a walking oxymoron. I am making
a refresher on what we're cooking because some people have just come in.
So I know Peter Brook was asking, I'm making snickerdoodles because, and Peter Brook's an Aussie as well. We don't have them in Australia. So when it was on the list from Mel, I was like, yeah, no, I'm definitely making those because I want to see what they taste like. So that's why I'm doing them. What are they? Yeah, don't worry, I said the same thing. Cookies with cinnamon sugar.
Yeah, but it's a type of cookie. It's made with cream of tartar, and cream of tartar is something that's readily available here in the States. I'm assuming it is also in Australia. And
I had to go search in the cupboard for it, but I found it.
It gives it a really distinctive flavor. If you've ever had a snickerdoodle, that's like its flavor. And cream of tartar is the byproduct of wine making. It's tartaric acid. And that's going to help give it the crispy edge, but keep it soft in the center. And then they get rolled in cinnamon and sugar and baked. And they're really, really...
And I don't press them down or anything. Hey, I just leave them whole. Hey, Google, set the timer for 8 minutes.
So did you say cream of tartar is the byproduct of wine making?
Yep, it is.
Oh,
when
so interesting.
Wine is aged in casks, tartaric acid forms on the side of the cask, and then that becomes cream of tartar. And it changes the pH in a recipe. It's why you see it like for stabilizing egg whites, because it changes the pH and it makes them less likely to deflate in the end. So it makes them a little more stable.
And you only need a tiny bit, isn't it? Like cream of tartar. I always feel like
what you're making, but yeah, for egg whites, you need a pinch, quarter teaspoon max for 6 egg whites.
I said the time.
She said, I love how you know all these interesting facts.
Me too.
I only know them because I taught people who wanted to do it for a career. It's my job to know them. That's why I know them. It's not like I'm just a person stumbling around with all these facts. It was a job. It still is my job.
When it's something we're passionate about, we remember these things anyway. Like, because Ella will come downstairs and tell us all these random useless facts of the day about animals that nobody on the planet has ever heard of, because it's interesting to her. It's what she's passionate about. So, you know, I would never have known. I ran a food business for 5 years, and I was in the kitchen for 5 years cooking for lots of people, but I didn't know about cream of tartar because it didn't interest me. And it's not a big ingredient here in Australia. I think the last time I used cream of tartar was actually making Play-Doh. I think it's in the Play-Doh recipe. I think that's the only reason I've got it in the cupboard, is because it was in the Play-Doh recipe.
That's funny.
So it's what your knowledge is about, what you're passionate about as well. And Mel's, you're really passionate about food and its origins and the information. And I really love the fact that all the cinnamon stuck to my hands is actually going through my dough here as well, because I was thinking before, you told me that there were cinnamon cookies, but there's no cinnamon in the actual dough, but now there is, because as I keep going, there's cinnamon going into the dough.
Yes.
And I loved Alejandro's comment before that said, Carly's nearly finished and now she's asking questions. Yep, super relaxed here.
Well, I'll share this is nothing, again, well, like maybe it's a little bit about cooking, but when Stephanie grabbed a magnet or something from her fridge, I just grabbed the magnet that I keep on my fridge. I don't know if you could see that.
I love that.
I love that. I love it.
Is that a friend of mine gave this to me a long time ago, and we did a performance actually about that. And there we go. I can't give that one up.
What does it say? I can't see it.
I'm sorry?
What does it say, Gina?
It says, a clean house is a sign of a wasted life.
Oh, I love that. I need that. Here's
what that on my desk. My art desk.
Mine says kindness.
Kindness.
Oh,
Nice.
Mine has the Wi-Fi password.
Yeah. I have one here too. This is from a good friend. It says, walk with the dreamers, the believers, the courageous, the cheerful, the planners, the doers, the successful people with their heads in their clouds and their feet on the ground.
I love that.
Too.
I used to have a
Beautiful.
fridge full of magnets, but when we got a new fridge at the start of the year after ours blew up, Jordan wouldn't let me put anything on the new fridge. So that's why mine.
Yeah, my husband told us we weren't going to put magnets on the fridge, and there's a ton of magnets on the fridge now.
Oh, give me another couple of months, it'll be full. I'm just giving him the first year magnet.
I was good for a year.
That's the only one we have because I actually don't like magnets on my fridge.
Yeah, he doesn't either.
I got one more from the fridge, and this has nothing to do with cooking, but boy, does it have everything to do with what I do as a hypnotist. Look at it, and then I'll read it. Two guys at the mountaintop saying, I'd have attained enlightenment long ago. If only I'd listened to my mother. Boom.
Cute. Very cute.
Okay,
I have
Alejandro said, this Ask Your Guides is giving big time nurturing vibes. I know Alejandro always
wanna
asked to adopt him, and now he's saying he's open for adoption for any of us.
I kind of keep forgetting that we're actually live because my phone is down underneath the computer and I keep forgetting to watch the comments.
Oh,
Arms of IT.
I'm gonna share another one. This is on my fridge. This is for my kids. You know, I have two girls, they're 8 and 10. So it's what to do when someone makes you feel small. So reminder. So it says like pause and breathe, ask questions. Did you mean to hurt me? Make eye contact, walk away. I deserve respect. You know, remember your worth. I am enough. Stand tall.
I love it.
Yeah. And then ask them to repeat. This one I thought was cool. Can you say that again?
Wow.
Yeah.
You need to send me a copy of that. I love it.
We keep this on our fridge too.
I have to share it with my grandbaby.
Yeah.
And the new one on the way.
Yeah. Well, oh, I wanted to also share with you guys too. I don't know if anyone else does this too. This is a hack that I learned from my mom a long time ago. So it's just getting a piece of kitchen towel, fold it up, and then you just put a little piece of tape to secure it so that it won't drip down onto the bottle.
Oh.
Yeah, there you got the chef version. Yeah.
That's good for wine too, I think, right?
Yeah.
I just licked the bottle on the wine.
Yeah, I do too.
Here's my kitchen hack for oil. It's a squeeze.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, that's the chef's way, professional chef's way.
But it's good for
Mine's a spray.
You got your spray one too, Carly? That's so good too. And it's like a mist, isn't it?
Yeah, so I've got both. I've got the pourer one and the spray one.
Yeah, I use those bottles for like sanitizers during the pandemic. I was like misting everything.
I'm gonna show you guys my cheesecake, and I'm gonna pop it in the oven. I made 2 because we're having 15 people over for dinner tomorrow night.
Oh, I thought it was because you were sending me one.
Oh, Violet, you can come
wish.
over. What's 2 more?
I
people?
know.
What's 2 more people? And I'm gonna put this in a water bath. So I'm gonna put this in the oven and I'm gonna pour hot water around it, and that's gonna help diffuse the heat in the oven, and it's gonna help it steam, and it's not gonna be dry and crumbly. It's gonna be smooth and creamy.
I love pumpkin cheesecake.
No, Peterbrook, because last week, I don't know if you were in my live, my husband was like, why are you doing pumpkin? I hate pumpkin. And so apple, and he didn't like, I have an apple one in my book that has a streusel crust and a streusel top, and I didn't do that one. So he was like, oh, can you make my favorite cheesecake? So it's using a different type of cheese that's not usually available in the oven. And
I knew what you meant, Jill.
in the States.
I'm sorry, I'm cracking up.
Why?
Jo-Ro, you definitely look old enough to be a grandma. I knew she meant don't. So I'm laughing. Because she writes don't. And I said, I knew what you meant.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my granny bun.
Moment of truth. Let's see.
Ah,
I could be a grandma. My son is 27, but I have told him if he has kids anytime soon, they're not calling me grandma.
yeah, mine's 29. He had the first one when he was 27, and I didn't even have him till I was 29.
They don't feel done. Are they supposed to be soft?
I'll try.
Well, it depends. So this is a great question Carly just asked. She said, are the cookies supposed to be soft? It depends on how you like them. I like a soft cookie. So yes, my answer is they are supposed to be soft. If you don't like a soft cookie, put them back in the oven. The other thing that you can do with that cookie tray, Carly, is pick it up and drop it, and they'll spread a teeny bit. Just like hold it up 6 inches. Yeah. Yeah. You can, if you can also, so earlier actually when you asked about, do I flatten them? I wanted to ask you in that moment if you like soft or crispy, because if you flatten them, they do spread more and they're more likely to get crispy. That's the thing with any cookie.
Well, maybe I'll flatten the second one. Hang on. Where's my spatula?
Do you like crispy cookies?
I'm gonna squish down the second tray so that I get 2 different tops.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Oh, look, I love it. Jen said she made smoothies with us and she cooked dinner for her dog.
Aw.
Cook dinner
They
for her.
look yummy. They're very soft.
And Blossom Violet, I was 39 when I had my second son. Blossom Violet said she was 39 and a half when her son was born.
I was 31 when I had Ella.
I was 29 when my first son was born.
I was 20.
And I thought I was too young.
I have a joke because I'm in New York City. When I was pregnant with my first son and I was 27, every woman that I knew was 45. There were no 27-year-olds having children. And then with my second son, I was 39 and everyone I met was 27, 30 having their kids. I was like, I somehow missed this. It was just very funny. Breeze, hello, Breeze. Dogs do love it when you cook for them.
I have a friend who had another baby when she was 47. When she told me, I thought she was kidding and I laughed.
It's my baby.
Hello, Carly's baby.
Hi, baby.
Hi. Look, I made snickerdoodles.
What you listening to?
What are you listening to? Nothing right now. Oh, very specific, nothing right now.
Yeah.
Welcome to autism. What were you listening to?
Mostly random songs.
Music. Music. So everybody, this is Ella. This is the baby of a smile from heaven.
Hi, Ella.
She'll be 15 in like 8 weeks' time.
Wow.
Oh, I feel old.
What's your favorite thing that your mom cooks for you, Ella?
That's pretty hard, actually.
Because I cook a lot of great things. Well, she got a new food this week, which is great for all those special need families out there. It is possible to get them to eat new foods. Takes a while, but they get there. What was your new food this week? Chicken, mushroom, pesto pasta.
That sounds really nice.
I was very happy with that. So, all right. Do you want a cookie?
Yeah, sure.
I think that's what Melinda said. She came down because she smelled the cookies.
Oh no, I pressed the doorbell. I made her come down.
My
Without
son
yelling.
would never be on camera. He came in here and was like, bye.
The best thing that we ever bought, because we've got quite like tall ceilings, and then there's upstairs where the bedrooms are, and because she's always got her headphones on, we're sick of yelling. So we've got a little doorbell that's in her room, and I just press the doorbell down here and she comes downstairs.
Like you're the queen. You're getting called.
Exactly.
I think they passed the test.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. All right. What about Dad? Do you want to come and grab one? Come and say hi. Here and say hi.
Are the cookies done?
Yeah,
I want a cookie. How'd they come out? Ella, tell the truth.
They're very good.
They're
That's
good.
Jordan.
All right.
Hello.
Hi, Jordan.
How are ya?
This is what we call Team
Oh.
Kane. Team
They're good.
Kane.
Jordan, are they good? Okay.
Yeah, they're not going to last long.
No, hang on.
You need to make more.
Oh, gosh. I'm drooling.
They're very soft. They're like eating.
Alejandro, I'm freaking out too, Alejandro. I have a cookie in the kitchen. I might have to go eat it.
Smile from Heaven family. Jordan! This is the family.
Oh, and you put
I love
cinnamon
it.
sugar on the top.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And by the way, now that Jordan is here, Alejandro, we've spoken about doing that all male teachers panel, and we want Jordan on it.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I've got my filter back.
Jordan's got a filter now.
Ironically, there's a spiritual guy in Australia that wanted me to go on his, and I didn't do it. I didn't want to.
But you want to with that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll do it with the brother. We'll do it with, I can't stop eating these cookies. Mel, why did you send me this recipe?
What are you talking about? I sent it to
That's so
everybody.
good. That's
Oh,
so good.
these would make good gifts.
Mm.
They're for Christmas.
Yes, that's what they do. That's when I first tried them, was around Christmas time, the snickerdoodles.
Well, we do random acts of kindness. So we drop them off to the police station.
Oh, I
ambulance
love
station,
that.
Even the pharmacy, the people who work behind the
Doctors.
counter. Yeah.
Oh, I
Doctors.
love that.
So we just randomly pick somebody and drop them off.
Our friend at the news agency.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
These ones aren't going to go very far. They're going right here.
My
Melinda, I
bad.
have never made a snickerdoodle either, but I have eaten many of them.
Here you go, Violet.
Homemade
This one for
ones.
you. This one's
Give it
for
to me.
Violet.
Yes.
I'm drooling.
Signify holiday season, right? With Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Yes.
too.
I love sugar cookies at Christmas time. I absolutely love sugar cookies.
You know what we did
So
once? My Carley makes the best. What are they called? Cinnabuns.
Cinnabons.
Cinnabuns with the thing. So we froze them, hard froze them, put them in ice packs, and put them in a foam cooler, and sent them to my sister in Canberra, which is that is
Like
like
a whole nother state away.
oh, keep going, 3 states away, and they were still frozen when she got them. We froze them, hard
Wow.
frozen, and she said they defrosted. They ate them, and they said they were perfect.
Nice.
She's never tasted Cinnabuns like Carley's.
Oh, I'm sure.
Nothing beats carbs. Nothing beats carbs.
Food is love. Food is love. Food is my love language.
And it depends on who makes it, because you put your energy into it too.
Definitely. Yeah.
I've got the time on for those ones, so I'm gonna have to be intuitively checking the time, checking the oven.
Oh, not yet.
Not yet.
But isn't it so true that I can say one of my favorite meals is a meal that someone else makes for me?
Yeah.
You know what Jordan says, Gina?
That's somebody
Jordan goes, oh, can you make it for me? You make it better than me.
But you do.
But it is true.
Yeah.
Even when someone just butters a piece of toast for you,
Yeah.
that's so much different.
And it's so meaningful. It's amazingly meaningful.
Yeah.
Melanie Alejandro says this is his favorite Ask Your Guide. So we're going to have to make it a regular thing, okay?
I saw that. And Carly, Blossom Violet wants to know if you're going to bring her some snickerdoodles.
Well, I'll ship some to Sydney for Blossom Violet.
Well,
If-
if you're overnight,
If they survive.
I was like, I knew that's a no.
And,
no, it's a no.
and Peter Brook, I'll ship some up to North Queensland because aren't you up north?
Gina, is your cake in the oven?
My cake is half something. I'm making a layers, so some is already done. There's still another one in the oven. Yeah.
Stephanie,
like-
what about you?
What's that?
I asked Stephanie if how's her food coming along?
You're on mute.
Mine is done, and I have fed hubby. Mine looks like dog food, but it actually tastes really good. So
It doesn't look like dog food.
it's It's all mushy because the beans, but I like the beans all mushy like that. So this is really good, and it would really be good. He likes. I'm not a bread and sweet person anymore, but he loves his bread, so he got a couple of slices of bread with it. I could just see smearing this on some bread. It would be.
I'm so hungry, to be honest, because I didn't have dinner before we did this. I might just show up in Danbury for some.
I'll send you the recipe, Gina.
Yeah, please. I would actually really love that recipe because I don't cook meat either, so I'd love that.
This recipe doesn't call for the meat. I just was like, this was just the braised beans and greens, but I love throwing the plant-based sausage in there too. It just gives it, a little extra flavor and some more protein.
I didn't realize you were doing the beans and greens. I make that recipe all the time. I love it.
Melanie, we have a request for a monthly mindful cooking like this one. So she said weekly, I said monthly.
So I want to know if anybody who's watching, is anybody cooking with us, or is it just us?
No, some people are. They said they were.
Good.
Yeah. Some people cook on my Sunday mornings, but I feel like most people watch. But yeah, I thought this might be better in the evening. Also,
Maybe
I'm
we can
salivating.
recipes maybe on the group or something.
I'm gonna
Because
put them in the group. Yeah.
even people that are out there doing their cooking, it's nice to see what other people are making because
Yeah, if everybody sends me their recipes, I can also put them up on the page with your profiles.
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Any of you,
Gotta
anyone
give
plant-based,
recipes away, really?
any plant-based or vegetarians, I've got like 400 plant-based recipes, but they're probably a lot to put in the group, but I have a separate group for it that you could join.
You can say your group. I have a mindful cooking.
Oh
group.
no, because it's on the Book of Faces.
Oh, I see. Sorry. Well, I have a mindful cooking group here on Insight Timer, and I will put the recipes in there.
Mhm.
And I do also have one in the same place that you have, Carly. Look, they're all gone. Your cookies.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Jordan keeps walking past, sneaking them. I want to show you guys. So we recently, for our anniversary present, bought ourselves this little mini barbecue that also is a dehydrator and a smoker. It's a Ninja. And I worked out that you can do cold smoking. So I nearly 2 weeks ago cold smoked some cheese.
Oh, that looks so good.
And I haven't
Amazing.
opened it yet because you've got to let it sit for up to 2 weeks. And guess what? I can't wait any longer. I think I need to open it with you guys and see.
What kind of cheese is it, Carly?
So
I'm
this
drooling
one
over
is
here.
a Gouda, some sort of Gouda.
Yeah.
I did write it down somewhere. Hang on, where's my phone? I wrote it down in my phone. So I wouldn't throw the packet out. This one is Mastem Holland Gouda, I think.
And
Or
then you
is this
smoked it?
some sort of Gouda? So yeah, so I smoked it for 2 hours. I'm gonna open the packet. Let's see. I've got a whole heap of them. There's a whole heap in the fridge. Oh my God. If you guys had smell-o-vision.
Oh, that's like one of my favorite cheeses too. She's killing me.
Sorry.
That smells good.
That is so good.
Look at the lines on the back.
Yeah.
I have to have some water. I'm drooling.
That looks so
Taste
good.
it. Let's taste it.
I'd pass on the snickerdoodles. I would not pass on that smoked Gouda.
Well, as soon as you said before cheese, I was like, oh my God.
Ah,
Cookies.
Oh my God. Jordan, you will not like this at all. That's code in our house for leave it alone. It's mine.
Oh, that's good.
Oh my God.
Some salami.
Smoked
and
cheese.
That's good.
Homemade smoked cheese. I'm gonna be doing like, so that's a different Gouda. And then I've also smoked some Costco cheese just to see how it would go. So I've got a whole heap of cheese.
Oh my gosh. You're a
You're not
woman of my
cheese.
heart.
Oh my God, that is so good. And jerky.
she's
I
killing
made
me. Ah, and jerky. She's killing me.
Me too.
This one's a smoked jerky.
Mmm.
Very good. Oh my God, that cheese. Next level. Well, cookies.
And Rebecca, I saw you
I
just
think-
add coconut milk to your soup.
Yeah, this is the final ingredient after it's all softened. And honestly, it tastes like pumpkin soup. It's really weird. you know, like even those carrots. It's one of those things.
But it's carrot ginger, right?
Carrot, ginger, garlic, onion, and coconut.
So delicious.
5 ingredients. 5 ingredients. And the kids love it.
I want that 5-ingredient recipe.
We'll send it to you. It is and it's literally like, because I have like nothing left in the fridge. I was like, what shall I make? You know, and this is like what you can just whip up. Everyone has it, right? And same with
Awesome.
like Stephanie's recipe too. It's like things that you'll just have around in the house. So easy to make something super nutritious.
Do you blend that, Rebecca?
I do. Yeah, I'll mute myself for that. So I don't
I don't even want to tell you how much stuff I have in my cupboards and my kitchen. And my husband and I look at each other and we're like, we don't have anything to eat. What are we going to order?
Oh my gosh. I kind of gamify it. I'm like, I try to eke it out for my next shop. Like I try not to go shopping until everything's used up.
I want to do that. I want that to be my goal, that I don't
Like
shop until I use up what I have.
There are websites that you can plug in ingredients and they spit out recipes, Violet, or to anybody.
Yeah. I need hand holding though.
So I used to do pantry makeovers, and I went to a lady's place once, and what you do is you pull everything out of your pantry and you make an inventory of everything you've got. Pull everything out of your freezer, you make an inventory, pull everything out of your fridge, make an inventory. And this lady said to me, I've got nothing to make for food. We pulled everything out, we inventoried it all. All she needed was some fresh vegetables and a few bits of protein, and she had 10 weeks worth of meals out of her pantry supplies once we went through it all.
Wow.
Incredible.
You'd be surprised. Doing that inventory and keeping a stock of what you've got, which is time consuming, but it's part of that meal planning. It's part of the process that if I meal plan, I go that
It's so
from what you've got.
It's so much more efficient, right? Like when you're gonna go shopping, you can just quickly go and identify the pockets. And I also keep like a pad here as well. Pencil. So it's like anytime that anything's out, it's like just write it down immediately, because sometimes you don't have your phone on you, and then you can quickly just put it into one of your checklists. Like I have like I use Google Tasks, Google Keep. And so I have like different lists. So it's so handy because it's like Costco, you know, you have your Trader Joe's list, all those like separate lists going.
Yeah.
I love Trader Joe's.
We don't have that here.
No, Trader Joe's. I
Not
wish
yet. They're moving. But you know, we like to do that too. I mean, every month or so, I'll just say, we're going to do this. Our dinner tonight is, we're eating out of the cabinet, you know, and we're just going to pull out whatever's there and just create something to eat, because there's maybe cans of stuff, or like you said, stuff in the freezer that we forgot about. And I find it kind of fun. And sometimes we'll do it for a couple of days in a row, because it makes life a lot easier. I don't have to think. It takes the thinking out of it.
And you know what? I think it's like also an abundance mindset as well, because, you know, especially when I'm teaching decluttering too, a lot of times like we stand in front of the closet and we're like, I have nothing to wear. Or like we're in the kitchen and it's like, I have nothing to eat. And I'm just like, that's not true. Like, let's just take that, you know, out of our vocabulary, because that's so not true. And once you're able to look into it, then you can get creative, right? Like with that, your creativity flourishes. You're just like, oh, I can make up all these different things. Like just what Carley said, like you're able to make 10 weeks worth of food, meal planning. That is just.
Oh yeah, you could probably do like 6 months in my.
But aren't words so important? I mean, words really mean a lot, you know. I try to I don't want to say things like I'm starving, you know, because like we get into this idea that we actually know what that means, you know. And I think that's a really good point, Rebecca, you know, that this mindset of we have too much. And there's always enough there, you know. We're really fortunate.
Our family
absolutely.
would be like, oh, that was delicious. Can you make it the same again? I'm like, no, because it's based on whatever was in the fridge or cupboard. Like, and it's no guarantee I'm going to have those ingredients next time. And I'm not one that will go to the shop for one thing. I'm like, I'll make it up. I'll MacGyver it. I'll figure something else out. I'm not going to go for one ingredient. So very rarely do my things ever taste the same more than once.
Well, I started cooking my next thing because we're having 15 people for dinner tomorrow. And I'm like, I better get my ass moving.
I'm too busy eating cheese. Sorry.
I
I'm eating
think
cheese and jerky.
Can you talk about that dinner party? What are you having? How are you doing it? Is it a buffet? Are you doing sit down? And what are you serving? This is very exciting to me.
So I am serving, we're gonna do deviled eggs and chicken pate. So if you're not a meat eater, close your ears. We're doing chicken pate and maybe salmon rillette. And then we're going to do brisket, mashed potatoes, a quinoa salad.
So what time are we meant to arrive?
Yeah, 5:30 US Eastern time. And these cheesecakes that I made earlier.
Jordan's like brisket and cheesecake. I'm there.
Love
One of
to
my
do
favorite
brisket,
foods.
but I'm afraid it would offend so many people.
Well, when you have that many people over, you're the one you're cooking everything.
I am cooking everything. My husband's gonna help me cook stuff tomorrow. Caramelized onions.
Years ago, I set up a potluck dinner club with 11 other couples because it gives us, you only host once a year. Every month we have something to look forward to. And I love potlucks because, make a dish and bring the recipe, so we got to try a lot of different things. But also then it doesn't all land on one person, because that's why I was asking you if you were doing everything. Instead of having some people bring, like you do the main dish and then have others bring stuff to fill in. No?
I like to cook, so for me, this might sound rude, but I'm a better cook than everybody I know. And for my husband's birthday, so I want to make it special.
But I'm with you, Stephanie. We do a lot of bring a plate stuff here in Australia where everybody shares in the giving, and then it's not all on one person. And I don't mind. Over the years I've hosted so many things where I've done all the work, but I'm at a point now where I'm like, I'm also more than happy for other people to bring it along. And I don't care if they bring a store-bought thing. I don't care, as long as there's a lot less pressure on me. So have fun.
Well, a lot less pressure, but also then we get to try new things that maybe we wouldn't have tried before.
It's funny though, because the first time I tried to organize a potluck, because here in Australia, it's not a big thing to call it a potluck. But anyway, I tried to organize it and I really wasn't planned ahead. I just said, just bring whatever. And we ended up with like 5 of the same thing.
Yeah.
I do suggest if you're doing a potluck, make sure you kind of have a bit of a plan that you don't all end up bringing the same dish.
Everybody ends up bringing like pasta. That's what I find. Yeah, we have like 1,000 pasta dishes when you don't specify, but what the heck? I mean, it's more for me when that kind of stuff is just more about the gathering.
Well, we end up with like 5 desserts, which wasn't a bad thing.
That's great. That's better.
Well,
not a hell of a lot of main food. That was the problem.
You bring it for my book club. We do a potluck and I love it. But this is sort of, I don't know if you guys know, Rosh Hashanah was 2 nights ago, and we actually canceled that dinner, and it's a tie-in of Rosh Hashanah and my husband's birthday. So that's why I'm doing the brisket, because we do that every year for Rosh Hashanah, but we decided to not have it that night. And I love potlucks under different occasions. And I know something that we do for Christmas is my family and I pick a country and we do the research, and then we cook the food that's traditional in that country for that time of year. It doesn't have to be Christmas. It could be whatever religion it is that they might be celebrating in that country. And it's been really amazing. My favorite has been Persian, and my older son's favorite was France.
You have to do an Aussie one.
You what?
You have to do an Australian one.
Yeah, I think we might do that this year.
Well, our Christmas is summer, so you're eating a lot of salads and cold ham and cold things because it's way too hot to turn the oven on.
Melanie, I agree with you though. Like my daughter's birthday party is next week, and I'll make everything. I mean, people can bring a little something, but there are some occasions where you just want to make. It's your thing, Potlucks are awesome though for every day.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. And
for my birthday last year, we did a color theme. And so each of my guests was associated a color, and they had to bring a tray of something with that color on
Oh,
it.
it's so clever. Yeah.
Yeah. So my girlfriend who was in charge of green, she bought, you know, food that was in green packages or green food. And then somebody else had red. And it was really cool because when we had a mixture of different things of different colors, and it was just easier for everybody. Then they didn't have to, you know, make anything. It was more about just making sure that the kids and everybody had something easy to eat. So.
Mm.
I'm gonna show you
Oh,
guys.
you got the table ready.
I'm getting it ready. Not ready, but
Just
slowly. Slowly. My mindful table. Guys, this has been amazing.
I was going to say, I ate at that beautiful table.
You did eat here. Yes. And I love all my paintings on my wall are women.
Oh.
Beautiful. Is it
Yeah.
like a vendor?
Say that again.
A street vendor? Like what's the image
Yes,
of?
she's a street vendor and she's cooking.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
Yeah. And then this one I love. This is a folk artist actually from North Carolina. I don't know if you can see it. This is metal
Oh, cool.
and she's cooking a pie that's coming out of the oven. I won't show you the rest right now, but
Carly,
I might have to
Melinda
try-
wants to know what you use to smoke the cheese.
I've got a smoker barbecue, but the wood chips are. It's an all-purpose blend. It just says all-purpose blend, balanced, mild, bright, and sweet. They're little wood pellets. Let's see what it says on the back. Does it give me a blend?
Yeah, but it's what type of machine is in the Ninja?
Oh, cherry, maple, and oak is what's in this particular blend. But our machine is a little Ninja wood fire outdoor grill. So it dehydrates, it smokes, it grills, it bakes, it air fries. I'm all into the appliances that do multiple things at once. So
Yeah, the
like my
ninjas are
Thermomix.
great.
A good commercial.
It dices, it slices.
It
That's what I was thinking of.
What it says it does.
Yeah. So Ninja outdoor smoker grill, I think
Because I
is
had
what
one
it's
that's
called.
She meant the type of machine. Oh, yeah. Okay. So
Yeah. Yeah, Ninja wood fire, electric barbecue grill and smoker.
well, does anybody else have any questions before we sign off? And I just want to say to everybody in the audience, I really appreciate all of you showing up tonight. And of course, Gina, Stephanie, Rebecca, Carly, and Violet, I love you all. This has been so fun and amazing. And just if you could share with everybody anything you want anyone to know, where they can see you, find you, your lives, your tracks, courses, all the things. Violet, you want to start?
Yes, please find all their links in my teacher's profile because I make sure I put them all in there.
But also you have amazing scripting tracks. Violet.
I mean, thank you for saying they're amazing. I think they're okay.
They're great. Jordan's even scripting.
I
think
love
Jordan's-
that.
I think Jordan scripts more than me.
I think that's awesome. I love that. Yeah, I do. I love journaling and scripting. That's definitely, that was my into Insight Timer because I didn't know how I was going to get in here, but thank you.
and now you're in.
I'm in.
You're in. Yeah. Well, I have a live session tomorrow morning. If anybody is interested to find out about Reiki, we talk about Reiki and just share information as well. Then we finish it with a 20-minute rainbow Reiki session, which is really cool. So yeah, that's always a really fun one. I do those once a month. And I do weekly ones on Monday mornings where we just talk about a theme and explore and meditate together. So yeah, lots of fun stuff. Love doing the lives.
Yeah. My favorite part of the week, honestly. So I've got a cacao and meditation on Monday morning, Queensland time, which will probably be Sunday night for some of you guys. And then Friday morning, Queensland time, I'm doing another PJs and poetry session because that went really well yesterday. Everyone loved that. So I'm not sure if I'm going to get a creative session in midweek this week. We'll see. But yeah, check it out because I'll always add new things at the last minute. So
Stephanie, you want to go?
I won't be in my PJs, but I will be here on Sunday, 5:30 Eastern time. This week, we're talking about how to rewire your brain. And literally anything you want to change, we can by rewiring our brain. I'm very excited about this one. And then also at the end of the month, a week before we change the clocks here in the States, please mark your calendars now. It is October 27th. I'm doing the first, I think I'm going to do 2 on sleep, because sleep, people are extremely sleep deprived. And then when we do the time change, it hits even harder. So a week before we do the time change, I'm going to start prepping you for it. And then probably the night that we change the clocks, we'll do a follow-up.
Cool, amazing. I can't wait to join those, Stephanie. I host sessions on every Tuesday and Wednesday. So they interchange between a safe space for sensitive souls to connect and also the live decluttering sessions. So if you guys want to get cracking and actually put the theory into action, come and check out my lives. I haven't actually scheduled it yet. So just if you follow, then you'll be able to see it. I'll schedule it in tomorrow as well. I also want to show you the soup. Hold on.
Yeah.
The computer.
That looks so good.
Oh my God, that looks delish. I can't wait to get that recipe.
It's so easy. And it's
Are
the
there scallions on there?
ginger and the coconut milk. And I put some coriander on top. You can put
What's the green? The coriander, the green?
I put coriander, but you can put like, green onions as well. It's just so forgiving, but it's just so easy. Like anyone can make it, right? Especially if you have like a slow cooker or anything too, right? Yeah. And
Hey, Rebecca, just quickly, when you were talking about the decluttering, I saw a really funny meme the other day about decluttering. And, because I know you do the Marie Kondo?
Marie Kondo, yeah.
Marie Kondo, yeah. And it's, does this item bring you joy?
Yes.
Well, this funny meme says, if it was covered in poop, would I clean it? Or would I just throw it out?
I was like, I will have nothing left. I will have nothing left when I saw that. It was just like, if your stuff was covered in poo, would you keep it? I was like, okay, I will have nothing left.
Yep.
But it also brings us to that, well, did we really have a big attachment to it in the first place then, if we could so easily throw it out?
Yeah, it's the detachment, right? And that's one of my core favorite attitudes of mindfulness as well.
Yeah. No. I have 2 extremes. I'll either keep it or throw it out. There's no in between.
And it's all about joy. You just got to lean into it. Everyone's got different emotional readiness, right? So we just have to honor that.
Yeah.
Elizabeth says, Carley, I find that super helpful. I do too, but I'm afraid that I would throw it out and buy another one.
That's such an interesting. I love that you bring these together, because what an interesting combination that we are here, as well as the people that are participating with us. It's just a really nice blend, and I'm really grateful to have been here with you all.
Yeah, thank you.
It's so nice. Like, honestly, thank you so much, Violet. And thank you so much, Chef Melanie, for bringing us all together, because it's not easy to organize and everything that goes on behind the scenes too. And to be able to connect with so many amazing teachers from like all corners of the world. I was so stoked, because I'm usually in bed by 8 p.m. And it's like 1 a.m. here right now, but I was just I took like a power nap as well. I told my husband, I was like, make sure you wake me up,
Good on you, Rebecca, for turning up at that time zone. Because I always say to Violet and Melanie, I'll be there, but you're doing one at the time that's going to be in Australian time, because I'm not getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning.
I know.
So lots of credit to Rebecca for being here, because man, I'd be asleep, snoring my head off.
It's the energy, right? Energy of you guys, energy of everyone who's on the live as well.
That's beautiful.
Sing right now, guys. I don't know how I'm going to go sleep.
I want to do it again. Maybe we can do it on a weekend next time, so it's not 1 a.m.
Well, it's Friday night, so that's why it's fine. It's not like I have to get up, and also the kids are self-sufficient. Oh, I wanted to share one more thing as well, which is I got date paste recently. I didn't know you could buy date in paste form, but anyways, we made these, and then talking about the random acts of kindness that Jordan was saying too. we made them into little chalky, little sweets. So we've been giving them out to everyone.
I love that.
Rebecca, I'll have to send you my date paste recipe. It's really easy.
Please do. I think I'm just like lazy to clean. That's why I was like, oh, I was like, this is like done already.
Oh my gosh. Well, I have a live every Sunday. This Sunday I'm doing pumpkin chili, which I'm super excited about. And I'm actually going to go live Monday morning, and I don't know what I'm doing. And Tuesday night I'm going live on bittersweet, and I'm making a chocolate citrus tart, but I'm really going to talk about the duality of bitter and sweet and how it relates to our lives. So I hope that you guys can join me. So, and thank you guys. This has been so much fun. I know that every single person in this live has loved it. They have said so. And I really
They want more.
really grateful for each of you and for everyone that's here.
She doesn't want to say anything because she knows she doesn't want to ask me, but I will do it. I will. I know you don't want to ask me to do OBS, but I would do it again.
Me?
Yes.
Yeah,
she doesn't like to impose on me when it comes to OBS. I know her. So she hasn't responded, but we'll do it again.
OBS is Violet's love language.
Yeah.
And no, like Alejandro says, it's our healing journey.
And also, Violet, we gave OBS like good energy. We sent a good energy, positive energy before.
Yes.
We went live. And it went really smoothly, right?
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys again for organizing this. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
See you guys soon.
Including me. I appreciate it.
Loved it. Loved it. All right, everybody. We're going to have to end the, unless anyone has anything else they want to add, we're going to end the live.
I will put the recipes in the group.
Yeah, Lisa, I am in the UK. Yes, that is where I am. I know we had a few UK friends. So I'm sure you guys are all at the 1 a.m.ers right now.
Oh, Blossom just said the time changes tomorrow in where you are?
Yeah, we have daylight savings. Although where I am, we're
Ooh.
one of the only states in our country that don't do daylight savings. So Blossom and I, as of today, are on the same time zone, but as of tomorrow, she'll be an hour ahead and I won't be.
Oh, that's so weird.
Does my head in with my mind can't compute, you know.
Thanks to worldtimebuddy.com, I can just convert all the time zones.
Yeah, I use time zone converter. It's on my phone.
Technology, guys.
All right, everybody. We're going to say goodbye because we could be here for another hour.
Bye.
I love you. Take care.
Thank you.